Okay, here, let me do the thing first. There's a difference with these things that they're like decentralized derivative trading markets.
Is there? What was the question? Is there a difference?
Is the difference on what you're looking at that they're decentralized derivative trading markets as opposed
I
to
like the. I mean, I like the decentralized side of it a lot, but I think just in general, like I think derivatives are a very mysterious thing to a lot of traders, and it's like, like what is it? What is it that you buy when you buy an option or when you buy a leverage position? Like, just to
okay.
try to like generally speaking, that's kind of, I'm interested in that. But if people aren't, we can stick with something a little bit more wax centric. Like WaxDAO just created synthetic tokens, and I created the first of the synthetic tokens just because why not? As soon as it was live on mainnet, I created a token called USD Earn, and 1 unit of USD Earn is worth about $3 of USD value, and it's comprised of about 5/6 dollars liquidity and 1/6 wax.
Weird.
And like the token, yeah, we could go into something like that. I think that's really fucking.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
cool.
I like the
It's very
derivative
niche.
stuff. You want to keep it like high level just to kind of give the broad strokes of those sort of derivative markets and what they mean and what your options are.
Yeah,
I think that covers
because that's a big.
in traditional markets, which I think is
Yeah, in traditional markets, the derivative market represents like close to 14 times the amount of money than compared to the equity market, which is crazy considering what that means is that the like derivative market is worth 14 times more than the actual shit that it represents. It's like, oh yeah, Apple company is worth $1 billion or whatever, but the derivatives of Apple shares that are trading are worth much more than that.
Yeah, and these sort of like leveraged positions is a staple on like at the institutional level for stock markets, and is this sort of leverage positioning is a good and bad component of a lot of these crypto protocols too, and why they're going under because they over leverage.
Yeah,
so there's like
that's a big
of leveraging.
Leverage also affords you the ability to make risk assessed like positions that basically. What's up? Huh?
Well, welcome.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It basically gives you the option to make a position that has like a fixed downside and a fixed upside, and you can dial in the like, at most I'll lose $20, but if this like hits the thing I can make like 1,000. So like having the ability to create positions that have like a limit to their downside while kind of like, having a 40-1 kind of odds or whatever. Like you can set the odds yourself. And that's kind of like what a lot of people who do trade derivatives don't do, that kind of calculations, and then end up making plays that are like, you could lose everything or you could double your money, which is like, well, why the fuck would you mess with that? That's not worth the risk. Like the risk reward ratio is shit. Like you wouldn't do that.
So that's a little bit we'll talk about later, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you like turn your gain down a little bit? I think
I can.
You're a little over fuzzy there, for lack of the technical term.
Let's see. This is still very loud.
Oh, that's really quiet.
Loud. Hello. Talking. That should be around here is where I'm getting into the red. Is that too quiet still, or should I crank it up more?
No, that's good. Just maybe a little bit down from there.
Oh, down from here. Okay. How about that?
Pretty good. That's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think when you're just closer to the mic and your voice is projecting, it kind of like starts to get distorted.
Yeah, it was also cranked up because the other day we were having issues with it, like not being loud enough, so I had to crank it all the way to 11.
Yeah, I figured it out. My volume mixer, like on my computer, got all reset when I had to reinstall Windows, and I didn't realize it. So I had the Chrome volume by default super low. So when I was trying to share videos on Friday, um, the volume of the Chrome app was like super, super low. So that's why you couldn't hear it on the stream. So anyway, I got that figured out. But yeah, Star Wars Galaxies. So it's important. I've been crushing the shit out of Star Wars Galaxies. It's like a private server. That's like an old MMO from like 2003, and it went for a while, but like the heyday was like 2003 to like 2005, 2006, and I played a shit ton when I was in high school. And there's this like a resurrected server because there's a whole saga of how Sony fucked up Star Wars Galaxies. It was like just absurdly successful. This was like pre World of Warcraft, and then they just kind of like nerfed it into oblivion, trying to tinker and change things. And so
Okay.
this private server is like apparently at some point the code got leaked by like an employee or something. So all the source code of the game got leaked. So then a bunch of private servers popped up trying to take the old source code and then retrofit it to the kind of era of the game that they liked. And so this one is like a private server that's kind of like a Frankenstein's monster of leaked code because they took like the content of the later game but grafted like the level and profession system from the early game, and so it's this interesting like hybrid, but it's really fun, and it stands the test of time pretty well. Like they like updated the graphics engines a little bit, so it's still kind of old, but the graphics are still pretty solid. But basically there used to be like a secret system. The downfall of Star Wars Galaxies, for a little history lesson here, is that they had a secret system that you could become Jedi in it, but no one knew how to do it, and it was no one ever like said what it was. It just existed, and no one even knew it was an option. And then at some point, someone at the high up of Sony Online Entertainment was like, "We're gonna have like they released like there is a way to get Jedi." So then everyone wants to do it because everyone wants to run around with a lightsaber. And they're like, we guarantee that there'll be a Jedi by Christmas. So they dumb down the whole system to make it secret and make it less secret. And then everyone started doing like these insane macros and like AFK. Once they figured out the system, they created all these like automated systems for players to speed run it, and then it just completely ruined the game because you had this massive multiplayer online game that had a very robust player economy, but then everyone was playing AFK because they were trying to grind out this Jedi thing, and then it just destroyed the whole foundation of the game.
And did they fix that in this iteration, or what's?
They changed it, so there is a way, a path to like becoming Jedi or whatever, but it's like it's a little bit more tailored, and because the system in the original game was you just had to master a certain set. There was like 32 professions, and you had to master in 5 of them, but it was secret as to which ones they were. So people would just like speed run every single profession so they could basically cheat the system. So this one's a little bit more nuanced, has like it's built into lore, and there's certain like special places that you need to go on certain planets, but it's all secret. So it's kind of like a fun, more creative way to approach it. So it's been really fun. So I've been playing a lot of Galaxies. So if anyone played that back in the day, you should play with me. That's my PSA on video games.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever played that one. It sounds like, I don't know. It sounds pretty interesting. Is your guy a Jedi as well, or are you focusing on some profession?
It takes a long ass time. Like it's actually like a really, really long process, which is cool because it's like we don't want to be this like everyone wants to be a Jedi game. It's just like something that's rare and interesting, and it fits the era of Star Wars, which is it's supposed to fit into like Empire Strikes Back timeline. Yeah. So
can you then be like a Jedi Master too, or is it like Jedi is the top? Because I feel like there's like levels of Jedi.
A whole tree that you go down, and you like there's a whole secret path to unlocking Force sensitivity, and then there's a whole quest chain that you have to do to unlock like Padawan era, and then it goes on and on and on. So it's actually like but it has a heavy RNG factor that only 1 in maybe 5,000 players would actually unlock it, even if they tried. So it keeps it super.
Oh,
And the cool part is, if you're a bounty
that
hunter,
sounds frustrating as fuck.
you can get player bounties, so you can hunt other players, which is really cool too.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So if you're like
Is
a
that what you?
Jedi, you would have other players hunting you. So like you would maybe change your play style or only play late at night, so people
Okay.
stuff like
I was
that.
I did really like that, like how hard it was to become a Jedi in Knights of the Old Republic. Like it took me like 6 hours or something of like after getting into that game before I got my first lightsaber, and like it made it feel so much more like valuable because of that.
Oh yeah, real quick. We love these subs. Can you do that better than me, Max?
We love these subs. if you follow any or what upcoming Oreos, is that one out yet, Paul? That's out today. There's a We Love These Oreos.
Oh man, I am the KY is like the new upcoming Oreos fan.
Yeah, we got the We Love These Oreos with the, what are they called? I don't know, those horrible monkeys.
That's so funny.
They're like floating around the packaging. They're like, we love these Oreos. They are good because they're double stuffed. Shit like that. Yeah, there it is.
Cause they are good and they are double stuffed. We love these Oreos. They come in so many flavors. They're so good with me.
Just keeps going.
Oreos. We love these Oreos.
Oh my god.
We love these Oreos.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's a little topical there.
So that's
Very-
that's Paul's
very relevant.
project, is upcoming Oreos Twitter.
Very relevant. That dropped today, I think. So finger on the pulse there with that.
Oh my god, that's so funny. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for the subs, General Moses. We appreciate it.
On that note, yeah. That was all for the subs.
So yeah,
We love these subs.
our like stream schedule has been a little off, and Lewis has been kind of off and on because he hasn't been feeling well. The LA house has had COVID.
Yeah.
So it's been a little choppy this past week, so we apologize for any sort of start stops there. But Lou did post the marble results here. I don't think he posted the eliminations, but it's pretty easy to glean out, to be honest.
Look at this.
Anyway, like the season ended end of September. So here's so Willibard is the winner. If Willibard's in here, shout out to his family. And then I think we can glean eliminations more or less. Like Willibard is number 1 for eliminations. Senia number 2. Let's see. II323 would probably be 3rd. Winnie Frederick 4th. Eric Yo 5th. Toon 2K 6th.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, shout out to his family. T Walter 7th. Geekariki 8th. Or probably least comic standing 8th. I don't know. They're tied. Geekariki 9th. And then probably Omerta. Oh, Omerta's in there. So he would be 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Okay. Yes, you're in there. You're in there.
Omerta, you are.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd be 7th, Omerta.
Oh yeah.
Then
making the cutoff.
comic standing 9th, Geekariki.
Who's 11th? Who got chopped? Who's the chopping block?
There's a big drop off after 43. So then it would probably be Random King, probably, if I had to guess.
Oh yeah. Sorry, bro.
That's-
Man, it just reminded me. I used to work at like a big studio that did like 3D kind of work for Marvel movies, and like there's hundreds of artists would work at a studio like that, and lots of like after a movie would wrap, like that studio was working on maybe like 6 or 7 movies at one time, and then like one of those movies might wrap on a specific day, and then around that time a lot of artists who were on that project would be either moved to other projects or laid off. and layoffs were super rampant in kind of like that, or are super rampant in that kind of a industry. And there's a production person whose last name was Block, and he would come on Fridays to people's desks and tap you and be like, hey, we have to go have a meeting. And it was like, the you're fired meeting. And so I was as a term of endearment, I thought I referred to him as the chopping block because his last name was Block. And I was like, oh, you don't want to visit from the chopping block. And I thought it was fucking hilarious, and it went on for weeks that it was just making that joke. And then one day he caught me in the hall and was just like, oh, could you not? Because I feel really bad having to let people go, and it's the worst part of my job. And then the name chopping block is starting to stick, and I really don't like it. And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I thought we were just having making light of a fucked up thing, but yeah, I can stop.
Oh man.
I thought it was funny, but I guess it hurt his soul to have to fire people every fucking couple weeks, and then for people to
sucks. I only had to do it a couple times as a manager, but it's kind of hard. I mean, some people are good at it and don't mind the confrontation, and they handle it well. And honestly, being on the other side, I'd rather you just rip the Band-Aid off. I don't need you to be like, oh, we're just so proud of all the work you've done. Just hey, it's not working out. Best of luck. Call me for a reference. Have a good day.
Yeah. I've been in layoff meetings before where it was I got called in on a Friday and they're like, hey, so you know what's going on? It's hey, how's it going? It's just yeah, I know what this is. And they're like, yeah, I thought you probably saw it coming because we're winding down. It's yep, yeah, I had a good time. See ya. Call me when you got work again. It's not a surprise, but it was after I was a veteran and have been doing it for years and years and have been laid off many times.
A contract, project-based kind of world, right? Because it seemed like you would, the way the visual effects world works, you kind of get monthly kind of, or month-long contracts that works on a movie, and then when it's done, rather than you have a consistent employee. You're more like an independent contractor.
You also get way more used to getting let go because of that. So it's like when my little sister lost her job and she has a career job, she was devastated and scared of
I'm never gonna financially recover from this.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is so, and it's just oh yeah, don't worry, it's literally nothing. It won't be a big deal. And then obviously later on it isn't a big deal, but when you're not used to getting tossed into the unknown, it can be really fucking traumatic for people to get let go from their work. So it's nice to have the experience for nowadays when I get into a let go meeting or something. It's just see ya, no hard feelings. Let me know when you got work again. And
you wanted to know about the new Oreos.
Oh yeah, right. The new Oreo.
All right, exclamation point play. We'll do the giveaways first, and then we'll go into tech talk. Anyway, like I was saying, I think loose stomach stuff and the COVID is kind of messing him up. So we're giving him some time to kind of take time for his health. So the new Marvel season is officially in play. It just we'll have to wait until he's back on stream, probably in the next few days. But just kind of setting expectations there. But it will. This is why we have it run for 3 months, and so we do it quarterly now. So it'll run from October through the end of the year. October, November, December. But we'll get the Marvel trophies out here hopefully in the not too distant future. So stay tuned for that. But we'll announce it. But for now, we'll do some Crittercraft in between.
I think honestly, there's nothing wrong with having experience and being experienced in a scenario where you get fired or you get let go. I feel has given me a lot of leverage in future, negotiations for work and stuff. For example,
a lot of resilience.
Say again.
Oh, I just saying, yeah, you're learning resilience and you're not scared of getting fired, which
exactly. That's the big thing where it was I had someone offered me a raise and I was no, that's bullshit. I want this much. And they're oh, nobody's getting that much. I'm it's either that much or I'm leaving. And then being able to follow through because I know that I can find more work because I've been let go many times and I can get reach out to a few friends and get a job by next week if I need to. But you don't know that kind of shit until you have lost your job over and over again. So then when you're actually able to like go into a negotiation, be like, I demand this, this, and this, and if I don't get those, I'm out of here. And then you can actually follow through and leave. Because at the end of the day, those types of negotiation tactics don't work if you don't follow through. You know, if they're like, oh well, we can't, we'll push back with this, and then if you kind of cave on your thing, then it's just like, well, you're never getting anywhere in that fucking company anymore.
All right,
So you know, don't
do,
make ultimatums unless you're willing to follow through either.
We're gonna do these promo packs. So I only have a couple left, and I just want to get these in before the season ends. So Wombat promo pack will give away. There's 2 of those. I'll do one for this race, or one for this Scrubfish, one for the next, and then I'll do maybe like a Sune third or something. But exclamation point play, give it a little time here. But exclamation point play if you'd like to join.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this too. I usually leave jobs rather than get fired. Like it usually ends up being like the last place I was at, they offered me head of 2D for the whole like department, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to live in Atlanta, so this is over.
And for those reasons, I'm out.
I was like, yeah, I don't think so. They're like, we built a whole studio, you could move down there and like we'll pay you like a salary gig as like the head of the 2D department. I was like, nah, I don't know. But it really does give you a shit ton of leverage to like know what you're worth, which you learn that by working multiple jobs, not working with the same company over and over again, and then being able to understand how available the work in your field is by constantly having to find it. And once you know those things, oh man, it makes you worth so much more.
Yeah, being willing to walk away is a really tough skill, but it is very necessary in like sales and in negotiations, all sorts of things. And you know, at the end of the day, the person who's willing to walk away has the leverage, but it's way easier said than done. Like when I was when I was managing for the alcohol distributor, like I had a big team, and like, you know, particularly at that time, it was like, you know, still COVID, and alcohol sales were through the roof during COVID because everyone was working from home and bored as shit. And but you know, they were like guilt tripping the shit out of me, being like, well, it's just, you know, if you leave, this is gonna like leave a huge gap, like when we don't have time to refill it. And it's like
awful lot of not your problem.
And, you know, and I felt really bad because I really loved the people that worked for me. I really loved my team. The salespeople that worked for me were really great, and I didn't want to leave them high and dry. But at the end of the day, like, I was getting really stressed out, really overwhelmed. The job was not the right fit for me anymore.
They also don't work for you. They work for the distributor, and you manage them.
And
so you're not fucking them over.
But like at the end of the day, it's not my role to make sure that this for-profit company continues to succeed. That is their role, to make sure that their company can absorb people leaving. And if you have a business model predicated on a manager leaving and the whole thing crumples, that's on you for designing a bad business. It's not on me for leaving. So, but it you know, it makes sense now, and outside of it to look back, it's very logical. But at the time, you know, it's like kind of more an emotionally driven decision where I'm like, man, I just don't want anyone to be on the outs because of me. I don't want to have any collateral damage because of my role, but you know, everyone's got to look.
But it really is not because of you. If there's no contingency plan, if you've suddenly like got in a car accident on your way to work and, you know, couldn't show up to work for the rest of your job, and they don't have a contingency plan, that's not your fault. Like that's the company failing.
No, I'm not trying to humble brag. It's just, it's more like that industry runs on very, very thin labor, where they expect a lot of their people, and they run a very, very small amount of employees to achieve a very large business with a lot of infrastructure. So they basically really run the line that if anyone leaves, it crumples the whole damn thing. But they are so tight on their budget that they won't hire more people. So but it also creates leverage on their part, because then people are less likely to leave. So it's a whole thing. I found that industry a little. I really loved the craft beer industry and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. I met a lot of cool people, but it felt predatory at times, and I really didn't like it after a while. Peeking under the hood was not good. I didn't want to see once I got there.
Yeah, that too. And the other thing is like, yeah, if they were to cut you, do you think they're gonna care about how it affects your life and how many people it fucks
Yeah,
you over
exactly. The
like in
company
your
would not
circles? They
hesitate
don't
if
give a
it's
shit.
in their best interest to let me go, they would have done it. And so on
Yeah.
my side, if it's in my best interest to leave that job, then I would do it as well. And so that was a fair trade-off, and I gave them plenty of notice and all those
Yeah.
things.
The
Like,
crazy thing I always
I'm not trying to
remember
throw
from
shade.
like
This is being recorded and put on YouTube. I'm not trying to throw shade.
yeah, I do remember when I was working like, you know, shittier jobs like at the grocery store or at like the movie theater, and I'd call out for being sick or for whatever reason, and then the manager would be like, okay, like get like who's gonna cover your shift? And it's just like, I don't know, I'm not the fucking manager. Like, I don't write the schedule. Maybe you should do your job and cover the shift. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah,
That's not
Max,
my fucking job.
we used to both work at Fred Meyer in the electronics department, and yeah, like this is
Yeah.
when we were in high school, and it was,
Yeah. And they're like,
it
oh, get someone to cover your shift. Like, fuck you. Get it. That's your job. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
it's such a big business, but it was like total organized chaos all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's a huge business, and like they have like
Huge. It's like a
hundreds of
Walmart.
employees, and yet it was just like borderline falling apart any given day. It was
Yeah. I swear, if I showed up like an hour late, that whole department would like crumble
it would
just because
close
like
the damn thing. No TVs today.
yeah, for real. And it was just like, what is happening? I'm like in high school here. Like this shouldn't like rely on me. And again, you know, if I'm gonna like not be able to come in and give you last minute notice, that isn't gonna also add the task of finding somebody to cover my shift to my plate. I don't fucking work today. Like I'm calling out. I'm not
And we
working.
need minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not built into the minimum wage that you're paying.
Yeah. I always love that the bit from what is it called? From Bill Burr's, like one of his earlier stand-ups where he's like talking about you go to like the sandwich place, you buy a sandwich, and he's like, yeah, I want a sandwich with this, and like mayo and mustard. And they're like, okay, so here's the sandwich, mayo and mustard's right over there. And then he's just like, do I look familiar to you? It's because I don't fucking work here. I give you 100% of the money. I want 100% of the sandwich. This isn't some kind of relay race where like you put on the fucking turkey and I go over here and I'll put on the mustard and I hand it off to the third person who like puts on the top bread. Like, the fuck is this? Like, that whole bit just is so funny where it ends with him being like, yeah, he like chokes his way to the top of the corporate ladder until he like kicks in the door at the Eyes Wide Shut party and is just like, where is he? It's like, you know, the guys making me do all this extra work. He's like, how big's your fucking yacht gotta be?
All right, well, I'm
That
gonna
shit's
go
so
ahead and
funny.
start this grubfish here, so buckle up. See, KY, you're on there, I promise.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know, I'm paying you for the sandwich. I want a sandwich with ketchup on it. Like, do I look familiar to you? It's because I don't fucking work here. I love that. But yeah, it's definitely I think the other thing about like getting laid off and getting experience like finding work, why that's like valuable is because you get to see how like findable and available work is. And you know, when you work a job for a long time, you do get the sense, or it's really easy to fall into the kind of like, you know, this is what I do for a living, and like I don't really know stuff outside of this. And so you get into the sense that like if that ends, then you don't, you know, you're kind of like high and dry, and you know, constantly looking for work and being out on your own that way, yeah, disproves that kind of misconception.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
it's
think
valid.
I think it's tough because, and we're just going on this whole rant, just completely outside of the
Yeah.
scope. But that's what happens when Lou's not here. But yeah, I think it's common in the working world for them to try and convince you, and this is across multiple industries, that you're very easily replaceable when that may
Yeah.
or may not be the case. So it creates this perception that you're not as valuable as you actually are, and so you kind of second guess yourself on like, well, if I'm that easily replaceable, maybe I'm just not worth as much as I'm asking for, or maybe I should take what I got because it's probably the same other places, when in reality it's not as cut and dry as they make it out to be.
Or the bullshit of like, don't talk about how much you
Big
earn.
business boogeyman.
I always hated that people are so shy to tell you what their rate was, and we're all freelance workers working for an hourly rate, and it's just like,
Well,
I'll
it's
tell you
illegal.
right away how much I'm making.
It's illegal in the United States to bar employees from discussing pay.
Yeah, but it doesn't keep the employees themselves from feeling like it's a taboo topic and not talking about it from their own, like, it's not like I'm pushing people about it, but I will ask, like, if someone like new person sits down next to me and is working on a shot, it's just like, hey, yo, what's up? How much do you make an hour? Like, and that's usually like not a cool thing to ask. Like, that's not acceptable. But the reason for that doesn't make sense because the only people who benefit from knowing that are me and you.
Yeah, I know employers try to
Yeah.
put a cooling effect on that, but if you can take anything away from this rant, it's that if you're in the United States, at least you can discuss pay, and you should.
Yeah, I sat next to someone doing the same job.
Skate that's on them, but it is not illegal to do so, and it's not grounds for firing.
I sat next to somebody doing literally the same job as me, and they stayed like late and overtime every fucking day when I would leave after 8 hours. And when I was like, what do you make per hour? Like, you do good work, kind of like, let's see. And he was like $27 per hour. And I was doing the same job for 50. And I was like, oh, man, that's crazy. I make 50. And he was just like, wait, what? Like, how? I'm like, well, I asked for 50 when they hired me. What did you ask for? And he's like, I asked for 27. It's like, well, that's why you get paid 27. Like, you need to ask for more. And he's like, I don't think it could get more. I'm like,
throw out a number.
It's like, you definitely can get more. Here I am making more, and I don't fucking stay late. Like, I mean, I do what I do very quickly and get like a quota or whatever met. But at the end of the day, it's like, he had this impression that like, oh, he'll be getting more money in the future because he stays late, because he does the extra shit. And it's just like, nobody notices that, my dude. Like, you know what the better move is? And like, in all honesty, the better move is show up fucking late and then just stay 8 hours, but later in the day, and people think you're staying late.
Damn, what a power move. That's
like, no fucking shit. I was doing that for years, and people are like, Matt, and I literally got that from supervisors. Like, Max is always here late. I'm like, I only work 8 hour days. I just show up at noon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I feel like the short-term memory, people aren't going to remember when you showed up. It
matters a lot to just talk yourself up. Like, go to literally talk to your supervisor at the end of the week and be like, man, I did so many shots this week. That guy's going to remember you saying that more than them looking at their like spreadsheet and actually doing the work of finding out who did the most shots. And then if they're in their meeting later on where they're like, oh, we have to cut like 10% of your team. Here's the names of artists on your team. Maximilian. Oh no, he did a shit ton of work this week. He told me himself.
He like a million in his name. The guy must be.
Yeah, that can't hurt. Yeah. Yeah, but still, it's like there's a lot of it that like, or like when I got my first comp job, I wanted to work on the SpongeBob movie so bad. And like I grew up watching SpongeBob, and like it was a Sponge Out of Water movie. I really love that. Like everything about it. I was like, this is like, I really want this job. So I went and I found the person who's like the producer on the artist side, and I would like have lunch with him, like, and go play ping pong with him like every day for like a break. I'd come by his desk and be like, you want to go play some ping pong, shoot the shit, and then just be like, as part of normal conversation, like, oh, are they hiring artists? And like, hey, I am an artist. I am interested in this. Let me talk to the like lead. And then I was like, you know what? Before I talk to the lead, let me talk to you. You know the lead of this team for the artist team. How is that person respond to me coming up to them and being like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm interested in being on your team? And the producer guy was like, oh, I know that guy. He would not like that. He would think you're a fucking ass-kissing douchebag if you did that. Don't do that. So I was like, okay, I won't do that, but you should put my name in for me. And it's like, make sure it comes up. And literally like 2 months later, when there was an opening, I got the offer and I got the job. And then the people I worked with were like, oh my God, you're so lucky. Like, I really wanted that job. And I was like, you did? Like, this is the first time I ever heard that you wanted this job. Like, who the fuck knew that you wanted this? Were you just waiting for it?
Dominance by crushing him in ping pong. So then he knew you were.
Yeah.
There's a common
business.
Common scientific fact that like, if you one, I think there's scientific research to say people who are attractive are assumed to be good at other things because they're attractive, but also like if you're good at one thing, people tend to fill in the blanks and assume you're good at other things.
Yeah, exactly. And it also helps being tall. Like being tall is just a natural thing. People look at me. I'm tall. I'm like 6'3" or 4 or something. People like just see me and they're
Hey,
like,
you're so
that
good.
guy.
Too. Shout out to my short kings.
Yeah, but I mean that's like a psychological like thing that I've read like studies on where it's like, yeah, tall people tend to like get paid more. Which is just like great. Let me lean into that. Like,
Yeah, it's just like
bring an Apple box with me. I stand on that shit.
Yeah, when I first got into sales, the best advice I ever got was like, you got to ask for the business. No one's gonna give you business. You have to ask for it, even if it's like a no brainer, and they obviously like you need to ask the question because no one's going to assume. And it's the same thing with trying to like, well, if I work really hard and I'm sweating it out and people can notice through and like
nobody notices. Nobody gives a shit about you. People, who cares about you is you.
Yeah.
And who should be looking out for you? You. Not fucking your boss or your like supervisor or whatever. They're who they're looking out for? Themselves. And so maybe take a play from their book and do the same thing.
It is funny because like I feel like you naturally think other people notice you more than they actually do. When in reality, like people really only care about their own little bubble, and they'll glance over and be like, "Oh, they look like they're working really hard," and then it just goes out of their head, and they never think about it again. And that's no knock on you being forgettable. It's just a matter of that's just how people are. They only care about their own shit, and they only will notice things if you tell them to notice it, or if you draw attention to it, or if you ask about it. So, yeah, I know we're like Tony Robbins light here, just people on how to succeed in the world. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Paul says he's got one. Hold on.
Business that doesn't.
Paul's got some insight too. Here.
Yeah, I got some insight. I was reading an article that said that you're more likely to move up in a workplace from a very loose connection than a strong bond, meaning that like a friend probably won't like put a good word in for you, probably because they know that you're a drunk asshole and stuff like that. But if it's someone just that you kind of know, like a friend of a friend, they're more likely to like let you move up in the workplace and get you a gig. Those are facts, data, science.
Mic drop.
Where's the source? Where's the sauce? I could buy that, honestly. Like there's definitely people who I know intimately who, if they're asking me to like recommend them, and then when I recommend them, the follow-up is like, oh yeah, well, like, is that, and know enough about them to follow up accordingly when they're like, oh, how is this person, if we have to do 12-hour days at like 11 a.m. in a small room, would you be cool like sitting next to them on a desk? And like, you know what, that guy's farts smell like ass because I've been around them long enough to actually smell their farts. Okay, Paul, sorry that Paul thinks everyone's farts smell like ass, but
well, they do originate from there.
Yeah, well, either way, that's an interesting thing.
All right.
I definitely put in a good word for all my friends who ever ask for it, and just like glowing review to the fucking top of the top.
All right, I'm gonna start the Scrubfish. This is for
even Mark. When people are like, "Should I hire Mark?" I'm like, he's a bit of an alcoholic.
Oh my god. Yeah, so take our advice. Be like us. You too can start a business that barely makes money.
Exactly. Yeah. You too can make no money from the work you put in day after day, but it is fulfilling. It is fulfilling, and it is fun.
It's very fulfilling. I'm just joking, but yeah, we have a big plan. Building a brand takes time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about fucking making money at the end of the day. Like, if you want, honestly, my whole thing, I've always said this to so many people. It's like, if you want to make money, work at the bank. That's where the money is.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good saying.
Like, that if you want to make money, you can make a lot of money. The bank hours are fantastic. You go home at 5.
But like, I do think the value of what we do, even though we don't make a lot of money, but the fact that we can basically have a business that does make some money, and be able to, as our jobs, shoot the shit with our friends every day. I would take that over making like high 6 figures being a lawyer or something. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I have a friend who is like a lawyer, and he's doing it because he has to pay off his legal, like his law school bills, and he like fucking hates it. But he's just like, there's literally no job that makes me enough money to pay off these debts, so I have to keep doing this for like 10 years. I was like, oh god, I'm sorry.
All right, GGKY. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and then we'll pivot into tech talk.
All right.
What the fuck am I? What am I giving away here? I don't know.
Let's do it. Let me know if you guys have anything aside from derivatives that you'd like to go into today. I was thinking about going into like derivative trading and leverage trading, just to explain kind of like the gist of it and like how we can do it without real money, just to test it out ourselves.
All right, we have a bunch of the Sune stuff. I know she's using this in a blend, so I just want to make sure that that is given out before the blend ends. So if there is a timer on it, so we'll give away this Black and Pink Streamer Sune. There is a blend for it. I don't know particularly how the blend works, but I know there's a blend. So that'll be this last prize, and then it'll be the last giveaway, and then we'll give away, or then we'll pivot into Tech Talk. So
Looks like the Nefty pool is starting to pay out Taco now.
Oh shit! I haven't moved over. Fuck! I need to do that.
If you're just in the pool on Nefty, like it just automatically is paying out Taco. You don't have to do shit.
Oh really? So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that was the only way to do it, right? You had
Yeah,
to do it.
I had my position in there, and now it just it says claim Nefty and Taco. So there's Taco just filling in the pool.
Interesting. So, huh?
I think behind the scenes that they were moving the pool liquidity into Taco Swap, but I haven't actually done the due diligence to check that happened. Last time, I mean, when I deposited into the Nefty Deluxe Reward pool, I deposited into Alcor. You know, through their front end. But
So I guess all the the Wax Nefty token that represents your position still applies to Taco, and they move all the liquidity. I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure if they like were able to unwind the liquidity from Alcor and submit it into Taco Swap's, contract without my signatures, but I am getting Taco
I
rewards.
guess because you're doing it through the Nefty portal, it might be connected to a smart contract, and so in that way, there's one layer between you and the liquidity rewarding, which means it doesn't require your signature. That's my only thought process. This is purely speculation, but it is interesting that you're moving liquidity that's mine that I don't have to sign for. I mean, it's fine, but it seems a little weird to me, but that's more from a lack of understanding.
Yeah. It's interesting. Let me pull up Taco Swap. Let's see if it shows up on Taco's liquidity pools now.
Okay, they're changing the smart contract, which holds the staked Wax Nefty. Okay, so we put Wax Nefty into a smart contract, get the Wax Nefty resulting token. Well, I guess I don't even know if you get that token in your wallet. It's just all governed by a smart contract, the reward system.
Yeah, I mean, initially the way that it was working, from how I was seeing it on the blockchain, was that we were adding Wax Nefty into the Alcor pool and receiving Wax Nefty token, which is the single token called Wax Nefty.
Interacting directly with Alcor.
Yeah, it was directly on Alcor, and then the Wax Nefty token was staked to the distribution contract for the reward pool. So when you added your assets, it did all of those transactions in one. Like next time you bring up your Alcor list, just scroll through all the shit that you're approving before you sign the transaction. It shows you, it's like, send this to Alcor, send the other one to Alcor, stake that to a Nefty distribution contract. And like it has a bunch of different like actions that it's doing in one transaction. Or I guess it's not one transaction. If you're using a hardware wallet, you have to sign each one individually. So you're clicking the button like 5 times.
Hey Eric Yo, you won you were number 14 in the marble results, and I believe you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in elimination. So GG, shout out to your family. Congratulations. And
the Nefty
Paul on the
pool
mic here. Paul is I'm just gonna say that he's hard at work as we speak, making marble trophies. He's probably with a pen and a paper or on his tablet drawing marbles right now.
Now he's walking Marcy right now, but he's probably brainstorming while he's walking.
There you go. There it is.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, we
Very
posted the marble results for anyone who's trickled in. We posted the marble results for
standing ovation, I hope.
the last finished season. It's in the Marble Prizes channel in our Discord server. It is not sorted by eliminations, but it's pretty easy to glean out since we're just doing top 10 for eliminations, top 100 for the race finishers with a mint connected to your finishing place. And Willow Bard is our winner. I don't think Willow Bard's won before. I know KY has been a season winner. Baggy Hodler's been a season winner. I2323 is
The
season
usual
winner.
suspects.
Let's see, who was it? Collecting Coins. I don't think Collecting Coins has been here for a while.
I'll see him every now and then popping into Discord though.
Yeah,
He's still around. He's doing his thing.
so
Let's see.
congratulations to Willow Bard for joining the what was that? That was season 10 too. That was a good season to win. But it's a small but hallowed group that is in the circle of season winners in Neon Marbles. This is a very, very small and exclusive club that you have now joined.
Right. I'm really looking forward to the staking V2 stuff going live on WaxDAO, so I can start making some pools with weighted like things, so I can add stuff like, winner trophies, or I want to do Cronion Bergs.
Another thing behind the scenes is I'm trying to shore up some of our documentation. I think it's now that I'm driving all through it, we've released a lot of shit.
A lot of shit.
I've been trying to put together like a Gitbook documentation. This was Lewis's idea, but to kind of put all in one place all the different schemas and how they were distributed, and all the templates and all the set bonuses and mint on demand things, particularly because we're like doing these like Burn Street blends that we're closing the contract and they weren't fully complete. So some of them are more scarce than others. Like, say the Sleep Number Coffin one was closed and only like 80 people blended it, whereas like Neon Spice, like 200 people blended it. Well, the mint structuring is different. So I'm basically making a whole repository of all the Neon Space releases by schema, what the mint structure was at the time, when it was released, how it was released, how many packs there were. So there's at least a way that you can kind of derive collector value from these things. So I think that's just kind of a nice way for us to tighten up some of our
and an overview of like
we've been around for over a year now, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it definitely will be nice to have like an overview of what the like tokenomics are of the collection, because at the end of the day, the T in NFT is token,
and we've been reducing the mint structure over time quite a bit. So we were at 1,600 for the first one for DIMS, then it was 1,200, and then in the most recent one it was like 350.
Yeah, the DIMS are getting down to 350 as max. I think that definitely makes more sense for our like scale and us trying to do like collectibles, not game pieces.
Yeah, and I guess with the burn mechanic too, I don't even know how we could do that, since
we can see on chain how many NFTs we've issued and then how many we've burned, and I feel like we could have like we could get like less out how many have been burned from how many we've minted, and then have like a running total of NFTs somewhere on like our own website, since I feel like that's missing from Atomic Hub. Like when you look at our collection on Atomic Hub, it's like, oh, you have, I don't know how many thousands of assets we have total, but it doesn't account for all the ones that were burned. And we've burned out like almost half of the shit we've minted. Let's see. I would love for like collections on Wax to kind of adopt the thing that they do on like Ethereum and EVM blockchain markets, where at the top of the market it shows number of people holding this collection, number of total assets available like to buy from the collection, and amount of volume that the collection has done in the last like 7 days, and the floor price. Like those things, I think those like 4 things are super fucking need to know when it comes to NFT trading, or at least like serious NFT trading. And the fact that that's not like something that you can see clearly immediately on pretty much any marketplace in Wax is kind of strange to me. Like, especially like, I mean, I know the information is there and you can see it, you can find it, but it should be like Neon Space, this many holders, this many assets, this is the floor. Like,
Yeah, I would like that. And yeah, how many unique wallets hold our assets? That's gonna be a cool number.
I think the VIRL marketplace is actually doing that pretty well. Like, if you look at their layout, it does do that. When you click on a collection, it tells you like the floor price of the collection. And I don't think it has how many people are holding it, but they are still taking.
Yeah, and I think the
feedback
floor
from
price
MicroChat.
is good, although it's kind of hard because our floor price fluctuates across schemas.
Yeah, but then it would be like the floor price of the
the
entire
floor
collection.
whole thing, and then you would know which schema to jump into. Because knowing the floor price isn't as big of a deal in Wax as it is in Ethereum, but for Neon Space, because it's tied to the value of the blend token, it actually is pretty useful statistic. But
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and start this. So this is for this black and pink streamer Sune pin, and this will be our last giveaway, and then we'll pivot into Tech Talk. Good luck, Godspeed. Shout out to your family.
May the odds.
Omerta, I just did exclamation point drop. We released Blockchain Boulevard a few months ago. Well, it's been a while, but the speed of the market is a little slower these days. But we do have an open drop, so Blockchain Boulevard packs are still available on Nifty. So if you want to support us, and we actually really like those artworks. I think Blockchain Boulevard is probably
that's
the best.
my favorite
I
one
think
so
we keep
far.
adding to the complexity of the neon animations and adding to the complexity of Neon City, and so it just kind of keeps going on the up and up as we grow. Same thing with like the way we've been talking about how we like Funko NFTs have got more complexity in the animations. But anyway, if you'd like to support us, Blockchain Boulevard packs are still available. Shameless plug. Thank you. Love you long time.
Shameless. Let's see. Oh man, I feel like our 100 Wax investment is still cooking. I gotta say, I'm pretty stoked on that, considering the markets are in the toilet for the last 6 months already. Everything's kind of dropping. And
do you know who's behind Trade Studios? I'm not familiar with that. Is that like a Wax project? I'm not particularly sure.
Just narked. Who's behind what?
I don't know. Someone just asked who's behind Trade Studios. I'm not familiar with that one, to be honest.
Oh, he's arbitraging Neon Space hard. I noticed that too. I have
What do you mean by arbing? I was wondering what that was.
Oh yeah, arbitrage. Yeah. I noticed that too. They're arbitraging like the floor of the like Neon token, as well as the like floor of the DIMS and the like different pools on Alcor and DeFi box and stuff. It's kind of cool. I have a suspicion who it is, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know about if they want their spot blown up by me telling them who I think it is. So you can always blockchain detective that stuff. Or if you really have to know, DM me, but I don't know if I should say it live on like a stream.
Kikariki, let's see. I believe, I think you came in a little late, but I saw you asked about marbles. So real quick, you are 8th overall, and I believe you were like 9th or 10th on eliminations. So you barely snuck in on eliminations.
Right on
I
the
think
chopping
you're tied
block.
with Face Comic standing, and you guys are 9 and 10, but I think he has more points, and that's what the tiebreaker is. So you would probably be 10th on eliminations. So, but I'm doing this manually, so don't take that as gospel. I'm pretty sure like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 44, 9, 10. Yeah, pretty sure. But anyway, you can see.
Damn. Let me jump back over here. I'm gonna share my screen.
All right, cool. All right.
Pull up some sharing my screen now. I'm just gonna pull up some stuff here. Start on TradingView, as you do.
Dude, big pump.
Just for shits here, let's start a clean TradingView. I'm gonna go into like an incognito tab and do this from scratch, just to like. Hold on, how to do that? Oh, right click, incognito window. All right, let's do this without any of my indicators and stuff on there. TradingView. So first things first, I'm just gonna go to tradingview.com. I don't have an account, but you can still go to products and chart. And we get our charts. And let's see, by default, it looks like it opens on Apple, and it gives you like the SPX, the NASDAQ, the DJI, like the Dow Jones Industrial, you know, the usual suspects. But we want to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and kind of wax kind of stuff. So I'm going to start with Ethereum is the one I usually go with. So we got Ethereum. This is Ethereum futures trading on CMX, not what we want to look at. So let's just toggle to crypto. And then here we go. We got Ethereum. And then this is Ethereum market cap. So this is like the TradingView aggregate value of everything. And then these are like individual exchanges. Usually I'll look at the chart on an exchange that is in my jurisdiction or that I might use. So for me, that's Coinbase or Gemini. Binance, I don't have an account, but Binance is a good one to look at the chart for because they have so much volume. Let's just look at Binance. Okay, so I clicked on Binance. That brings up my chart here. By default, it's set to the 1 day. It looks like regular candles, and we have no indicators really to speak of. And now it's telling me, you know, you can do a free trial, and I can hold control while zooming if my scroll wheel weren't shit. But okay, so let's add some indicators. So first things first, I want to see like the OBV is one of my favorites here, the on balance volume showing value moving into or out of a market. So you can see here, oh, it's coming down as the price is coming down, kind of what you expect to see. But let's see, you can see kind of on the way up too here. Like it's coming down quite a bit, but staying flat, kind of climbing, very much a upward trend here during the bull market and starting to sell off in the bear market. So I'd like to see the OBV, and then I'm going to add as well the Stoch RSI, Stochastic or whatever. So I just do SR. Stochastic RXI, this guy. Get in here. Oh, I just clicked it too many times. So I click the X to get rid of it. I like it to be above, so I'm just gonna click the arrow. So that's how you can like adjust your, you know, stuff here. But let's do this back down. Okay, I want Stochastic RSI. Okay, so now I think without having an account or anything, I can still add one more indicator. And for me, I'm probably going to use the Bollinger Bands, so I can get the basically the smooth moving average plus the what's it called, the deviations of the smooth moving average. So again, indicators, and then we go BB for Bollinger Bands. And there we go. At this point, I've decked out the chart as much as I possibly can without having to pay for an account. And I have everything that I need to kind of like keep an eye and start like getting an idea of what we're looking for. So let's see. Using just the default tools that we can get for free on TradingView, we're going to take a look at the Ethereum chart. I'm going to add this. I wonder if I can add. Oh, I can. Awesome. Add the Ethereum. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, you do have to sign in to add stuff. So that's yeah, that's fine. Oh, you bitch. It just kicked me. Well, I guess that's how you set it up. I'm just going to go back over here now. So since it's set up now. Now you can see it's pretty much exactly the same on mine, except for I'm on nighttime mode. But I have my OBV, I have my Stochastic RSI, and then I have my, let's turn off some of the stuff that we don't have. And I have my Bollinger Bands. So this is exactly the same kind of setup. The only difference now is I can actually save things. So I can toggle between, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Wax, and I can, you know, draw lines and stuff on these charts that will then stay with them. So I guess let's take a look here. We're on Ethereum. We'll go to the 1 day chart, and it looks like we are kind of within the range between these two lines that we've drawn. We kind of never actually cross below resistance or support rather at around 1200 or 1250 ish. We've been kind of bouncing between that for days, and now are coming up on the middle B-bands line. So right here, the middle B-bands line, if we're still in a downtrend, should act as a pretty solid resistance point. And if we are going to continue this sell-off over the next few days, let me zoom out a bit more, keeping in mind each one of these candles is a full day. I'm going to toggle back and forth to reset the way the chart's drawn. But if we're going to keep moving down, I think the middle B-bands line should act as a good resistance here and kind of like reject our price movement upwards and keep us going down. You can see on the SRSI, we're still not all the way at the top, so we do have a little bit of room up still. Could probably move up for the next day or two to kind of like top this out before, you know, starting the sell off again. And that would still be in line with this blue line we drew months ago. Feels like years ago at this point. We drew months ago to kind of like indicate the general trend of the market moving down. And it wouldn't be a surprise to me if we pumped all the way up to kind of this line, which is, you know, 1400 again, and then continued selling off. So I have been kind of in bear mode for months and months and months, and nothing's really changed that's making me think the markets are turning back to a bull market. The biggest indication of my markets turning, it would be zooming out on the graph. I'm going to swap to a different map really quick here. Like, let's do Binance and Ethereum so there's no lines. And then I'm going to zoom out to 1 week charts here. So then here you can see much more clearly, kind of since the start of the bear market, we've been very much keeping that rule of using the middle Bollinger Band line as our resistance on this bear market. So every time we do see like a few weeks of positive price action, it doesn't do much more than get across the big bands line before being rejected and moving back down. Same thing happening last time, kind of moving down, sticking to that middle B bands line. So let's take a look closing in here. There is a bit of room still to kind of like retap and kind of retest that. But you can see on the weekly, we're definitely near the top of the overbought side of the SRSI, and very clearly, you know, if we go from the top of the bear market here, very clearly in a downtrend, making lower lows, lower highs on the retests on the on balance volume. The reason it like looks weird here is because this, you know, goes all the way to back when Ethereum was $200, $300 a unit back in 2020. Right? Yeah, back in 2020. Damn. But yeah, so again, it looks like very much still in this very keeping true to the bear trend, very much being rejected every week on or below the weekly middle line of the Bollinger Bands. And again, we're zooming in a little closer to the 1 day to get a better sense of the coming week. And it looks like on that coming week, we are kind of retesting the middle B band line on the daily, kind of getting into overbought territory, so possibly running out of steam. Imagine it maybe won't push too far beyond that middle line before continuing its sell-off, especially considering the money is still leaving this market on the daily chart pretty clearly. We're making, you know, lower lows, lower highs on this like shorter time frame. And if we zoom out, very much still in a downward trend. Very hard to call any of this stuff a higher high. And this is very clearly down, even though this is relatively flat. So again, it feels like money leaving the market. Usually that trend is, you know, followed by a continuation of a downtrend. So I want to see higher highs here while the market stays flat, and I'm not seeing that. I'm still going to be bearish this week. So I think the prices of this stuff continue to go down. Really quick, let's take a look at Wax too. Wax has been really flirting with that like bottom bear market support line that we drew out. Oh man, also like 6 months ago or something, when we first predicted Wax could hit 8 cents again. We're really hitting that line again now. It's proving to be significant in a supporting capacity, meaning that it's you know, keeping the price above right now. It's acting as support. If we lose this 8 cents, I could see Wax falling no further than about 4.5 cents based on my personal like deep dive research into the Wax blockchain, because around 4 cents per unit you start breaking even if you are running a validator. Like if you are a block producer, like if block producing is something that you do as a business, it becomes unprofitable around 4 cents per unit in the current market conditions. So I would, if wax falls below 4 cents a unit, I'm very interested in buying, because it's basically being produced by the block producers who maintain the network at a loss at those prices. So I think there is definitely room between 8 cents and 4 cents for the markets to continue to, like, you know, exist below this, like, you know, hard bottom that we drew a while ago. But man, that bottom is really holding tight lately too. So you can see here all these candles will wick down every time we get like a hard sell off, that, you know, it always basically comes to a full stop right on our support line, which is kind of what you expect to see with those lines, is why you draw them in the first place. So I'm interested to see how wax will react with the, you know, future price action that is kind of like foreshadowed by the Ethereum markets. It's also interesting if we look at the cost of Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin, because obviously Bitcoin is king of this asset class still. And while Ethereum is absolutely traded against the dollar at a lot of exchanges these days, there's still a huge portion of the Ethereum trading volume that comes from Bitcoin Ethereum pairs on exchanges that don't deal in fiat currencies. So let's take a look at that. You got Ethereum and Bitcoin. Let's see. Here, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Let's check it on Binance. Lots of volume here. And then if we look at this on the weekly as well, we can kind of see, you know what? I'm going to add that to my list so I can toggle back and forth. There we go. That should have added it. Yeah, so now I can do one of these. Here we go. So this is also kind of doing, so this is the price of Ethereum in terms of Bitcoin. And you can see, you know, on balance volumes kind of recovered during this last sell-off, but like it's not making higher highs on the weekly. So this is like on the huge timeline. By the way, we're looking all the way back to 2015. So this is like the entire existence of the Bitcoin Ethereum market effectively. So, you know, don't think these moves are going to happen overnight or anything, but you can see that, you know, we are at a spot where we're not like making a higher high in Ethereum terms. We're kind of at this like middle range. We could still move up or down, but like if we start losing, we're retesting now here the middle B-band line on the weekly. If we lose this, it's possible that Ethereum sells off in terms of, you know, Bitcoin back down to, hi sweetie, back down to like even here, just to like keep ranging within here. And these types of moves can be pretty like harsh on the Ethereum market, because like if Ethereum starts falling in terms of Bitcoin while the price of Bitcoin is falling, that can be a very interesting kind of market condition. So it's fun to see that, or just to be aware that, you know, we are right on the middle B-bands line. We're definitely not overbought or oversold, so it's not very decisively choosing a direction yet. And it's going to be interesting to see if Bitcoin kind of regains more of its dominance before the next bull cycle starts again, or if we're kind of decoupled this market now, where Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of exist in their own on their own kind of ecosystems. It's hard to say, but I'm interested in keeping my eye on these charts too. So, and again, I'm keeping my eye on these charts on a huge time frame, like on the weekly candles. Like I'm not trying to make any like informed decisions based on these charts, much more just kind of trying to inform my own biases. So if, you know, if I have a bias like, oh, I think the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum are coming down, this helps to like inform my bias of like, okay, between those two assets, what should like I like monitor risk with and whatnot, you know, just being aware that this is another thing, I guess. But yeah, I guess that kind of covers looking over these markets. I think we're moving down still. I don't see any of the like action this week really doing anything that's outside of the existing pattern that we've been tracking, we're very much still like very in line with the telltale signs of bear markets closing below middle B band lines. Retesting old supports, like flipping old resistance levels into new support levels, all that kind of stuff is still happening, and the unbalanced volume moving down. So let's treat these markets accordingly and move into our DeFi investment that we've made with 100 wax. Let me swap to that. Say leave this on. Oh, did I already close that? No, I didn't. I'm going to close this one too. Come on, DeFi box. All right. And now, yeah, let me know if there's any questions or anything like that. But I'm going to go into the DeFi box investment that we've made. So we started with 100 wax. Here we are on DeFi box. I've logged into DeFi1.ftw. That's our current our wallet here for this. So far, on DeFi box, we still have our position in wax USDT. That position is currently worth 113 wax. Just like we expected, it's gone up in value from the wax we put in, and our goal was to do that so we can actually see how that's happened. If we go to the swap, switch to liquidity tab, and then scroll down, and you can see here, we personally have started with 51 wax, and now we have 56 wax on the wax side. So we're up, about 10% in terms of wax. So 5 wax on 50 wax is how I'm like napkin mathing 10% on that. So basically what that means is that, sure, the USDT side went down like we expected, but because the price of wax has fallen, we earned more. We got more wax for the USDT, and now the amount of USDT here is actually worth this amount of wax. So if we wanted to close this position fully back into wax, that's where we're getting this 113. So not bad. This is on its own. This was our principal that we've pulled back, which was our initial 100. We're already up 13% on that in terms of wax, which again, our goal is to focus on raising the amount of wax we have, not the amount of value in dollars. So that should be noted as a distinction here for the objective of this investment. So I'm going to leave this alone. Like, I still think the markets are coming down, or at least staying around here. 8 cents per wax is fantastic. I love that. Like, so the fact that we're actively buying into wax as it's around 8 cents, wonderful. Like, let's leave this alone for now. I think if we do start climbing in a way, like in a week or two or something, and we see that this starts to go back towards 100 wax, we might opt to pull 100 wax out to effectively, hedge our principal so that we never can lose with this wallet. The idea is, we started with 100 wax. If we have 100 wax in the wallet and just, eventually like maybe just stake it to the wallet's resources, then there is no way to lose anything anymore. And we can continue to effectively play with house money, is like the expression. But the idea is also to be a little more aggressive than, we're not trying to just save 100 wax forever. We're trying to grow it. So let's make these decisions as we go. The other side of this investment right now is over on Taco Swap. So I've also logged into the wallet on Taco Swap. Here's our liquidity there. So we have 7.5 Taco and 1.3 Taco in this pool. So basically 7, that's 8.8 Taco times 2 is effectively what the total value of this is. So I'm curious what that is in wax. 8.8. So that's another 20 wax of worth of liquidity that we own in the wallet on here. So we're actually at a total of 133 wax. So we're up about 33% on our 100 wax so far. And that's before we've claimed our rewards. So let's take a look at the account rewards. It looks like we have earned another half a wax here, another half a Taco. So let's claim all this. Let's select all and withdraw and sign for this. I think my favorite part of the pool on wax on Taco is still the Brawl wax pool. Let's see if did it withdraw the Brawl as well. So yes, it should have. So I'm gonna take the earnings from what we just claimed here and basically compound them into this brawl pool. So I'm taking the brawl that I earned, 11 brawl, and it's going to take a counterpart of whatever amount of taco that is, and I'm going to add that to the brawl pool. That way we end up with a growing position in the liquidity pool, which is also earning that interest. And now the other pool we have is wax and taco. I still do also like that pool. Let's take a look at what the yield is on that. I'm just going to type taco so we can see all the taco pools. So we're still earning 125.
It was
Say again?
brawl. You did brawl taco. That was the pool.
Yeah, we compounded the brawl taco with the earnings because we earned both taco and brawl. So by doing add, we clicked, add, and then I guess it still has a fraction amount, but that's probably not worth wasting resources on now. And we also own here taco wax, and it's earning 72%. That's not bad either. So let's continue to compound this. Let's see if we have just in hand the assets to do that. And we do. So I'm going to take the remaining taco that we earned from the yield and compound it into this pool. So there we go. Let's do that. Done. So now we have those pools growing, and we have still, I think, some shing that we've earned. So I'm going to swap the shing into taco as well. Or let's do into wax, because wax is kind of our baseline asset here. It's with 2 zeros after the decimal. I don't think that's worth doing a transaction for, so I'm not even going to bother. Just why bother, right? And then let's take a look really quick in DeFi Box if there is other pools or on DeFi Box and on Taco, if there's some pools that we want to participate in over what we're currently doing with our stuff. I'd also like to check in on this Neon pool. And yeah, see, look, it's getting some serious APR now with people trading against it. And like you're saying in the chat, there is here, if we go to last, pretty sure we'll see.
Oh, there's the arbitrage right there.
There he is, going hard. So it's getting a lot, like a big part of the concept for adding these extra pools for Neon, where if we scroll, all the way down, past all these like super low value wax pools, then you get into the here, see how these pools are all almost worthless now. But once you get past all these, you get back into pools that are base paired not with wax. Like here we have USDT. USDC was the pool I made last week or last TikTok. And then I made a Neon wax pool. So you can see 30 Neon is pulling through this pool. And that, 30 Neon is, 30 times 7 or something. So that's a pretty significant amount of Neon transaction volume that helps to drive the volume through the wax Neon pool. And because because DeFi Box isn't giving us any type of like incentive rewards, and we give out our own incentives, but they don't get factored into this percentage. 100% of this percentage comes from trading happening against the pairs. So if we look at
what's like the trading volume?
Yeah, so the volume in the last 24 hours was almost 1,000 wax.
That's pretty good.
Let's see here. So you can see here in the last 24 hours, 939 wax. And you can compare that to like the surrounding tokens of 127 and 68 wax, 400 here on Battle Miners. AWC is getting some pretty big one. But yeah, 1,000 wax in volume is a lot. A big part of the Neon token economy is also that there is no inflation for Neon tokens. The only way to get more Neon token is to burn Neon Space NFTs. So it's a much easier token to get into to do arbitrage style trading, because you don't have to factor in the decay of the arbitrage opportunities due to the inflation of the currency.
I mean, I guess the only inflationary metric is when we do more drops.
But even those are basically base priced at 50 cents per dim, because we sell the drops for $1 per NFT.
I see. So there is always a floor price.
There is no free way to just pump new Neon into the market. You still have to. Someone has to buy you know, the neon, and it's not like we mint them or sell them OTC or anything like that.
Mhm.
And we never will, like that's, or at least we never will without a direct, like legitimate, I would say, vote from people who hold neon token. I would say is the only fair way to be like, hey, can we sell neon token, you know, in a bid to like be listed on an exchange or something. That type of vote would have to be done to people who hold neon tokens or people who hold neon wax liquidity, because those would be the people affected by that stuff.
Oh,
But that's
so
like way
the
down
base
the
price
fucking
of
line.
one neon is
Oh yeah, base price of one neon is 7.4 wax.
so 65 cents.
65 cents, yeah.
So I mean,
It's about 50 cents per dim if you consider we charge $1, or I guess we charge $1 for like an NFT in our pack, and then that doesn't include the RNG chances.
yeah.
So it's like, you know, you can still buy a pack, open like what is it, like, yeah, a pack is what, $3, right? You could open like a glow and a lit and a dim, and you could burn all of that stuff and make back your $3 immediately.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So like, or if you get lucky, you could, like, you know, I've opened pack with multiple glows, like that shit would make you like, but then of course odds are you're not going to make money by ripping a pack and being just burning the shit out of it. But the whole concept for our token economy is there's a healthy like arbitrage style market like this between the fungible tokens and the exit liquidity for anyone who collects our stuff. That way, if you do own a collection, there is, you know, like, let's see, there's significant neon liquidity these days. Like, look how close to the top of the list on DeFi Box.
Yeah,
we are, I guess.
that is kind of the thought process, is like,
Yeah.
you know, particularly in a tough market where there just isn't a lot of NFT volume in this kind of bear market as there was prior. You know, obviously our artwork speaks for itself and people buy it for that reason, but there's also this additional pressure that as neon goes up and the floor price of the secondary market goes up, if you're trying to find neon token, the cheapest way to obtain it is to buy new packs.
Yeah.
Rather than the aftermarket. So when buying new packs is a better deal than buying floor price, then that puts pressure on the sale as well. So that's kind of the thought process.
Yeah. The idea is we want to sell out the sale, and the only way to sell out the sale is by making sure the floor and the neon token economy is able to absorb that. So to push the sale to sell out, the idea is to push the burning of neon space NFTs, so that new people would need to buy new ones and continue the process. I think it's a very interesting thing to be able to build, you know, come up with your own token economy and then gamify your collectibles that way. It's really, really cool. But yeah, let's see if there's any other like super high yielding positions here. CMW is still around 0.5. I don't hate it at this price. We could kind of maybe do a play on this, but 351% APR is probably not the best deal we can find if we look for high APR stuff. So let's jump over to Taco Swap as well on the meal pool. Which by the way, I'm not sure if you saw this, Mark, but the staking thing on Taco Swap is also like if you stake at least, it's I guess without getting super into the technicals of it, if you stake at least 100 Taco into any of these salsa pools, you're getting a way better deal every time you swap. Like way better. Here, I'll show you what that means. So on the salsa pools, you stake your Taco and you earn these APRs in whatever token you chose. Like I'm doing Taco for more Taco. But once you stake, where is it? No, there is a section about how they adjust the fee. Here it is, fees and staking levels. So by default, it says there's a 0.3% fee that gets taken from your trades, just like on Alcor, like a liquidity sourcing fee.
That's pretty par for the course, yeah. Yeah.
So this is just by default, and 0.1% of that is distributed to the pool owners, so the people supplying liquidity, and 0.2 of it goes into the Taco like fund. So it's like a 2-to-1 split where like the liquidity provider earns, you know, 33% of the yield, and the other percentages goes to the team. But of that 0.2%, you can reduce the commitment, where if you add just 100 taco, it drops it all the way like to 0.1. I guess it's 0.15 initially, but it drops it. This is like a 50% reduction from
Yeah.
what it is by default. It's a big deal. Whereas the next step is 900 more gets you an additional 1%. Like these, I don't give a shit about any of this, but like 100, everybody should be doing that. Like you
Yeah,
get
and it encourages a lot of
huge discount.
decentralization because it's such a low entry point that you'll have a lot of unique wallets providing staking liquidity.
Yeah. And if you do large swings, it does make sense to do like, you know, the higher stake levels. But ultimately, I think if you are going to do a like large trading stuff, you're best off with this bottom part here. VIP token holders automatically get level 6. So the VIP NFTs that you can own for Taco would effectively be worth 100,000 Taco stake. And 100,000 Taco is like an insane amount of wax. So
Damn.
it's definitely, you're better off with an NFT if your aim is for this, for sure. But and then again, I want to reiterate, anybody who uses this Taco swap is absolutely benefited by staking 100 Taco into the Salsa pools.
How
And
are
like
the
I said,
VIP NFTs distributed?
the VIP ones, I'm not sure actually. Let's see. Oh, they're not cheap.
Yeah, I just wonder how they initially gave them away.
There's only 100 of them too.
Oh, damn.
28,000 wax is the cheapest one. I'm not sure how these ones were given away, but I feel like maybe Princess Phoenix would know something like that. I wonder if she has one. It says VIP membership made for true Taco supporters only. Unlocks whitelisting for future drops and future features. Okay. I mean, I'm guessing it's like an early adopters kind of a reward for something,
Founders token
but
kind of thing.
you know, I mean, it's 2,500. Let's see, 28,000 wax. How much does that translate into Taco? Like, is that equal to 100,000
That drives
tacos?
me crazy with these like founders tokens and stuff. Is like, wow, you get the privilege of being whitelisted for future drops. Like, you get the special privilege to be first to pay us money again. Like
Yeah.
that's the part where it's like, if that's all you're giving me, that's a shitty utility. But
Yeah,
if you're reducing those fees, which does have a way to kind of kick back over time and
yeah.
volume, and
But even
the whitelisting thing comes in as well. I'd like that makes sense to me, but it seems far too frequently where it's just like, oh yeah, buy this thing so you can always be whitelist. Like, well, who's to say are you
yeah,
a whitelist? Have these collections that do that. Like, you can buy their shit. There's not so much demand that you even need a whitelist.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, 28,000 wax is 11,000 Taco. So
Oh,
it's
there we
nowhere.
go. They also get airdropped at least 50 Taco per week. So it's kind of, it seems like almost like a dinger
okay.
badge kind of thing too, kind of similar to what similar mechanism to what Burst does, where like weekly they give away stuff to all those badge holders. So that's cool. Good for I like what Taco does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they definitely have like a really cool, like gamified, like DeFi platform, especially for Wax. Holy shit, this is like the GameFi platform, I would say, at the moment. Like they're really doing a good
Yeah,
job.
that's true. I mean,
Like,
DeFi Box has a lot of liquidity, but it's really, there's only so much that happens there.
Yeah.
Taco seems a lot more engaging and has a little bit more of a
Taco just feels like it's like a community forward project, much more than DeFi Box is
a lot
like.
more actively managed, and DeFi Box
Yeah.
seems like it's just kind of there. And
Yeah, DeFi Box for me, it feels like they are porting what their flagship products and chain is EOS, and like Wax is like a side thing where they're like, oh, we could just paste some of the shit on Wax, and like we already built it on EOS. Why not just like port it over? Whatever. It's the same infrastructure,
yeah,
Like,
long
rather
hair,
than
how
it's
did they
not. It
distribute-
doesn't.
How did
Say
they
again?
distribute those VIPs, long hair? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, do you know? I'm interested about that too.
But yeah, I agree with you. I feel like Taco is like a part of the Wax Wax community, whereas DeFi Box just is a port that exists on the Wax blockchain. But
Damn. People are buying these for like tens of thousands. Well, at least over 10,000. 14,000, 13. Damn, dude, they do sell. Yeah, often too. Look at this, is all the same day. What the fuck? Yeah, wow.
Whoever bought
right.
theirs for 5,800 is feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, I bet. It does seem like, yeah, here, 89.99.
Well, Max, I got about a half an
Too much.
hour here before I have to break away. So
Okay, the
um,
last thing I
your
wanted to go into. Oh, say again?
did you want to go into your derivative stuff?
Yes, I did want to go into that because I think it's really fucking cool. And just to understand how this stuff works and leverage trading works, I think to demystify that, because I think
Yeah.
I see so many memes and people talk about leverage trading and people getting liquidated and all that stuff, but I honestly don't think any of those people know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of a thing where either you think leverage trading is either for just degens on Wall Street bets, or it's for
Yeah.
institutions, and it's not approachable or viable for an everyday retail investor.
Yeah. So let me pull that up here. So I've been getting really into this as a leverage trading platform called Gains Network. I really like it's a very experimental, absolutely like a high risk concept too. But it's a leverage trading platform that operates on the blockchain. So it runs on the Polygon network, so on Matic. And we can mess with it on Matic's testnet. So you can see I have it set to Mumbai. Mumbai is the testnet for Matic. So the way that you can interact with this is you can add Mumbai to your MetaMask wallet by simply clicking on the dropdown and saying add network. And once you get to add network, you'll want to, you'll want to here, add here, basically add the network name, just paste this, paste all those things into each respective field here, name, chain ID, blah, 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 blah. So you'd come through and let me share this if you want to follow along, because it is really fucking cool. And honestly, I think it's worth like doing this just because you don't have to fucking put any money into it. You don't have to do it's all testnet. It's all free. So you can at least try it out yourself and demystify this insane process for yourself. So here we go. This is I just shared a link to a tutorial on how to add the testnet for Polygon. So it's called Mumbai. You'll add these things into your MetaMask. And once you've done that, you'll click here to go to the faucet page. And then you'll just go into your MetaMask wallet on this, on whatever address that you want to use. So I'm going to use, this colorful wheel one. I'm going to copy this account and paste it here. And then say submit, confirm, and it's going to ask me, or it's going to say, yeah, it'll take a couple minutes. Once you do that, it'll send you like a minute later to your like Mumbai wallet. You can see I got 0.2. I already did a transaction just to test it out, but I got 0.2 Matic from that. So now I got, and again, these Matic are on the Mumbai network, so they're on the test net. You can't take these to the exchange and sell them. Don't try to farm this thing for like fucking testnet tokens. That's nonsense. But now you'll be able to make a testnet wallet. You'll be able to fund the testnet wallet with some Matic, and then we can come here and do the testnet version of this platform just to kind of get an idea. Initially, you can come up here where it says DAI. If you have none, it'll have a button. It'll say that's the one transaction I signed. It'll say claim 10,000. So it gave me 10,000 DAI coins, which is basically DAI is a dollar stable coin on the main net of this, and it's the backing for all these trades. So everything on this platform is backed by, dollar stable coin in the form of DAI. And to make your trades, you have to use DAI on this platform. So the testnet will give it to you for free. We have 10,000. Let's do some trades and see how this works. So this is the markets you can trade. We can do stocks, we can do Forex, and we can do crypto assets. So Forex is cash, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with the terminology. And so for cash, like a lot of people, maybe are in Europe and are aware that the euro is currently in trouble. So you can do EUR, which is the euro. You could trade euros against dollars. And then here's the active chart for the cost basically of euros and dollars. So you can see the euro seems to be climbing back up to about 99, 98 cents here. We're on the 1 minute chart by default. So we go back out to like an hour, for example. and it takes a second to upload. But yeah, you can see the euro had a really rough time where it fell off. And then again, this chart is a trading view chart, so we can do all the stuff we were doing on our other charts. So we can add like SRSI, but we can add the Bollinger Bands to this as well, just to kind of like, familiarize our little like trading. Here we go, and there we are. So we got all of this stuff in here now. And now we could start trading these assets. You can see, for example, we're on the 1 hour. Look at this. We're way overbought on the RSI. We're way above the middle B-band line. So let's see. Let's zoom in on the 1 minute. How is that looking? Okay, also overbought above the 1 B-band line. Let's try to short sell this, thinking that it's going to drop. So what we can do now is say toggle the interface to short. Market means we're going to buy at the current market price. Limit means we can specify what price we want to open our position in. So we'll say market just to open a market, and let's short sell with, let's do $25. And then we can add leverage to this position up to 1,000x. At 1,000x, our position will be worth $25,000, and it'll cost us $2 to open this position.
What's the amount of collateral you have to have for that?
$25.
And it's letting you do 1,000 times leverage?
For Forex, yeah. For cash assets, yeah.
Dude,
so let's do that. With 1,000 times leverage, I have to approve this contract. So this will be a transaction that I have to sign on the blockchain. But again, we're on the testnet. We get free testnet tokens. This is all going to be, it's not going to cost us anything to play with this and try it out.
As a business model, doesn't that seem not very smart to give so much leverage when you don't have, you have such small collateral? It seems like they wouldn't really get most of their money
That's
back.
exactly so we're paying right off the bat, we're paying $2, which is almost like what, 12% or something? No, like 17%.
Compensate for the lack of collateral.
Yeah, so we're compensating on the front end, and then our margin for this position is going to be razor thin. So like I might have been too slow already.
Premiums too,
But so we've just submitted the transaction. It's going to mine. It takes 2 block confirmations to add. So 1 and 2. And then we have our order now. So the order will show up down here. There it is. So right off the bat, we have here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, scroll up, zoom out a little more. So here, I have it set to take profit at 900% profit. Let me close some of these things down.
It's an ambitious strategy.
Yeah. It's definitely nuts. So here we go. So this white line is the spot price where we opened our short. So we're short from here. The price is above theirs. And because we're at 1,000 times leverage, we're already down 18%. Now, as this, and the RSI is starting to look oversold. Like, hopefully we don't bounce. We have room to bounce up to this blue line. At this blue line, our position becomes liquidated and we lose the full $25 that we put up. But again, our upside for this position is fucking massive. As this price falls, we could potentially get, 1,000 times the return on this. So again, now
it visualizes on the chart where you would get liquidated. That's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah. Oh, the interface for this is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of this.
And so does this charge premiums similar to like options or like interest?
So you are paying interest as well. There's a rollover fee for the interests, and it gets taken out of your base position. So I started with 25, right? Right off the bat, it took $2. Let's see. It should show me type detail.
So it keeps reducing your collateral, which makes it easier to reach the point of liquidation as time.
Yeah. So it's reducing my exactly. It's reducing my collateral. But it's basically what it effectively does is right now, if the price falls to like here, look, as it's falling, it's coming from 13 down to 10. But as it falls to like, let's say around here, I would be at 0%, I'd be breaking even because it would have covered the $2 I've paid for paying for the initial collateralization of this stuff.
Mhm.
And then as the like interest gets charged, the basically the price it needs to close at drops. Like it takes more and more for me to actually make a profit because I'm also paying interest. But the interest on these loans is pretty cheap. They changed the interface. They used to tell you right here what the interest was like. It's like something like 0.00013% per hour or something like that.
Yeah, without going into too much speculation, what's the background on the euro struggling as a currency?
A lot of that has to do with the United States pumping out inflation, and a lot of the like global markets are tied to like the US dollar market. And the EU also very recently like warned the Federal Reserve that like if they keep raising interest rates, that's going to like cause the global currency markets to collapse. So you had like the euro, like this week's that whole like droop, that had to do with the Great British Pound, where in Great Britain they had basically, you know, they've been struggling since Brexit, since like their prime minister like had to like, it had a whole regime change basically recently in England. And let's see, and because of that change, they like basically announced a plans for like massive tax cuts for the wealthy to help business in the UK, which
you trickle down economics.
You can't. It doesn't fucking work. And it was the response to it was like immediately the British pound took a hard shit, and they've since rolled back on the plans to do those tax cuts. But man, what a fucking mess they made! It's literally like a new power, like a new leadership came to power basically in the UK, and then made a bunch of like reckless fiscal policy announcement plans.
Okay, so that plus
tanked
the
like,
Federal
UK
Reserve
economy.
rate increases and the global inflation
Yeah.
going on is all coalescing
Yeah.
together.
So in America, we're experiencing pretty decent amounts of inflation. In Europe, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Like it's not great. Oh, and see here now, we're breaking away the opposite direction of where I thought we'd move, and like look how quickly this is getting expensive. You know, and look at that. Just as quickly comes right back down. So when we get like volatile assets, like during the moment when something's selling off actively, using kind of a leverage position. So leverage at 1000x, this is fucking bananas, like batshit. You wouldn't really do this. And it also only works on Forex assets. So if we wanted to trade, for example, Ethereum, you could come to the Ethereum pair, and we could do like a leverage short with a maximum leverage of 150. So it won't let me go to 1000 on this asset because that's just like you can't support that with the backing. You know, the entire network itself, here's the Gains network, is backed by a pool of USD of DAI, which is US dollars, and that pool is currently worth $18 million. It's acting as the counterpart to every trade on this blockchain, or on this not blockchain. It's happening. The blockchain side of it is being done by Polygon or by Matic. But here you can see that in the last 24 hours, it did $70 million worth of trading volume against that $18 million liquidity. So it's absurdly capital efficient, in the sense that all of the $18 million in here is being used to transact. And then here you can see, like the general performance of the traders. This orange line represents the cumulative wins or losses. And so you can see from the inception of this protocol, people have been trading and generally losing money. Here's some big wins happening. And then again, most people or most trades end with a loss, and the loss ends up adding to the bankroll basically of the protocol. And then here's the cool part of this is anybody can participate in the bankroll. You can literally just deposit your own DAI into the vault to help collateralize the counterpart to this market. And then you get paid out in DAI at a rate of like 11%, which is pretty fucking good, but also comes with the risk that if traders begin winning against this pool, it's, your money is is the counterpart that they're winning.
Oh, they're paying your shit out. Yeah.
Yeah, your money gets paid out. So the more prudent strategy here, if you're or more less risky thing would be you could buy the GNS token, and that isn't directly funding the pool, but is being paid out by the pool. So it pays also out in DAI stablecoin at a rate of 7%, which is not bad. But either way, that's not. That's kind of like besides the point of what I'm trying to get into with the trading side of this. Here we have, Ethereum, and let's do an Ethereum trade, right? Ethereum moves a lot more quickly. It's going to be more fun to watch than like here. Oh, looks like our markets are. Oh, we were just in the green. Let me jump back to this one. By just clicking it, it'll toggle the interface. So here you can see we're now below my line. I'm up 7%. And let's say I'm happy with this. Let's do it. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. Okay, so now that we're down, we're up 21% here. I can choose here and tell it to now stop loss at 0.99. What are we at? 0.9987. 7. So we're up 20%. It would need to be 0.9987. Let's do 88. Here at 20%. So it has to be lower than what the current spot price is, right? Let's just do 9%. So I could say update this. Or actually, now that we're dropping so far, yeah, whatever. We'll just do this just to show a demo. I can update a stop loss here. And you can see, I guess it doesn't say on testnet, but the stop loss prices are guaranteed to trigger at the price that you've set. So there is no way to get front run by like a huge move and then end up with like, less than 9.8% at this point. So I've broadcast this transaction, and now you can see my liquidation is up here. This white line is where I started, but now this red line is where I'm telling it to stop loss. So now if the price comes back up, when it hits here, it'll automatically close my position and give me my 8% profit. At this point, I could close for 30%. And honestly, let's not be greedy. Let's just close the position. Let's not let this linger. It's already way oversold. So we're going to say close the position here, sign the transaction, and now using $25, I think, in about 10 minutes or whatever.
Jesus Christ.
I've closed, so these are signing, and here once this second one goes through, there it goes, and now we should get our return.
Does it lock in your gain?
There it is. So our gain was $7.07, and we started with $10,000 a minute ago, and now you can see if we go to max, hey, look at that, $10,005 because we lost the $2 as part of our fee.
Wait, so when you broadcast that transaction you want to sell, does it lock in the spot price at which it's selling, or does it not calculate the profit and loss until the transaction's received its block confirmation?
Until the transaction is mined and that pops up. So if you want to lock it in, you have to do a limit close, which is kind of like how I was setting the stop loss. You can set those, and then it won't do anything except for that price. But again, you have to send those transactions while they are, valid. You can't do it while it's outside of that range.
Yeah.
But now that we
quick moving market seems like a tough one, but
so we did just make, $7 again off of 25 or $5 off 25 in like 10 minutes by doing a leverage trade. So now we could jump over and try the same thing here with like Ethereum. Right. Let's see. Oh, Ethereum is just where I want it to be. Look at that. On the 1 minute, we're way over on this. We're way far away. Let's do a limit sell here, or let's do a market short. Let's do like $100, but this time only add like 50 X leverage. So again, it's going to cost me $4 on the front end of this just to open this. So now I'm doing it. You can see here, I'm doing a $5,000 position because I'm doing 100 times 50. It's costing me $4 on the front end. Yes, I know. And my liquidation price becomes this. So now we got 1, 2, 1, 2, and then there it goes. Position is opened. So now you can see here, that white line is my short sell, and already 2% up as the market falls. So already up $2.50 on that. But again, very volatile markets will swing quite a bit. And if I zoom out here to like the 15-minute chart, go somewhere. There it is. Okay, and that becomes my liquidation price. So you can see, we saw the market was starting to top a bit. Even on the 15-minute, look at that. We're getting up to the top. So we can take, even though we only have $100, we can take that and create a $5,000 position collateralized against our 100. And now we can wait. So you can see here, let's go back into the number one. So the way that all this works is basically you're effectively saying, I want to expose $100. And I'm willing to pay, the $4 that it costs to open a position like this. And I'm willing to accept the risk that if the price hits my liquidation range, which is, where does it show me here? I guess I just click on it. No, it won't say. Oh yeah, which is 1389.96, so almost 1390. I'm willing to accept that if the price does keep moving to that point, I will lose my, initial principal, my $100. But in exchange for that $100 at risk and the $4 I put down, I now have 50 times the exposure to the price movement. That means if the price now falls 1% from here, I'm making 50% on my position because I, effectively leveraged 50x against this. So you can see already it's up like with $100 already. I could pull it out for $3, and very quickly it's like shifting around. So it can get very like, this is the kind of thing that like when you think or when you hear about people like day trading or swing trading or leverage trading, this is like people sitting at their fucking computers and like opening multiple of these positions over and over again. You can also open like, let's do a long at the same time, right? We'll do $100 with 50 times leverage long as well. And so then we could create what's called a straddle. This is a straddle means I don't know which direction the market's moving. I'm just going to bet in both directions because I bet the market is moving. Not that like the only way that this loses for me now is if the market just goes flat. Because as the market's going flat, I'm paying interest to maintain these positions. But let's see. Oh, there it is. Opened a long. So now you can see they're both around the same price. And then as my long, goes more negative, my short goes more positive. But the straddle strategy here is that if my long becomes liquidated, like if my price of the long would be called, then the short would be so far in profit at that point that it would almost break even. Almost. I'd be maybe like 20-something% away from that still. But at that point, I would be more confident in the direction the market is moving and probably wouldn't close the short. And then the idea is that the short will continue to profit on the way down, eventually outpacing the cost of the liquidated long. Same goes for if we instead go long, by the time my short gets liquidated, I expect the long profits to basically cover the losses of the short and make me a profit on top of the long. So that kind of strategy becomes very easy to maintain in a platform like this. And I don't know, it's really interesting. I think personally, it kind of like made a lot more sense to like look at, leverage trading on a chart where it actually draws out like, oh, this is liquidation range. This is now like your spot range. And then like we'd have to zoom way the hell out to see where I'm trying to take profit because I've set those to 900%. But if I change this to like the 1 hour chart, you can see here on the short or on the long, we would make 10x what we started with if the price makes it up to here. And on the short, you can see it's just barely off screen down here. That's where we could take profit. Now, again, just like anything else, you can actually click this and you can like drag it to a new spot on the chart. If you're like, I don't think the price is going to make it here, I think it'll make it to here. And then it'll just bring up the transaction and let you confirm that you want to change those targets.
Oh, wow. That's nuts. That's pretty
Yes.
cool interface, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, the interface on this is really like very fluid, very nicely done. And I can also, if this just starts ranging within, 1 hour is going to be a little tight. But if we go to here, the 15-minute, I could just wait till this goes up 10%, close it, and then wait for it. If we don't ever actually hit my liquidation price, I could then wait for this to be in profit and close this as well, and close them in whatever order is most lucrative to me, because this being an on-chain type of thing, each one of these orders is its own instance of a blockchain thing. So there is no first in, first out. Like I don't have to close my short before I close my long because I opened the short first. That's not a thing, but that is the case if I'm doing the same thing on like what was it, like Kraken, when they were offering leverage trades. It was always first in, first out, and you can't really go long and short at the same time because going long would close a short. So here we go. And so you can see now that we're starting to move a little bit. Let me go into the 1 minute to actually see this movement. There it is. So you can see we're losing the middle B bands on the 1 minute, moving down. So now our short is 10% in profit, but our long is starting to like bleed a bit. What I could do now is, okay, we're kind of at the B band line. Maybe we, find resistance here. We are oversold. So maybe I close this. Let's close this for 8 point whatever, 9, whatever. It's going to keep cooking along until my order actually mines. So I'm going to send this in. Oh, and by the way, this works with stocks too. You can trade on stock assets like Google or Microsoft
like
or whatever.
Apple, yeah.
Yeah, because we're not actually trading Ethereum versus USD. We're making DAI bets on the direction of this market. So we're not actually buying any Ethereum to do this. We're just betting that Ethereum will do something. So we just made 9% on this trade. So I've closed that, and now we no longer have a short. So if we keep moving down, oops. But if we now can recover from here, after we see that we've been so oversold, we're barely below the middle B bands line, so we could still push back above it. Now I could wait, and if it does push back above, I could close the next one, also in profit, and hopefully keep my my 10,000 that I started with. At this point, I'm up, the $9 if I were to close this position, because it's also $100. So if I were to close
Monopoly money, let's remember he's on a test net right now. This is not real.
Yeah, this is Monopoly money, and 10,000 is the default amount that it gives you for free. So again, if you do want to just try and fuck with this and just see if you can call the direction and mess with making these types of plays, you can see how quickly you can lose your money. And it's not real money, so
risky. So just from a not financial advice PSA, this sort of leverage trading is a very quick way to gamble all your money away.
Yeah, very quick.
I think if you're interested in understanding the concept, it's interesting to have this testnet ability to be able to try this out and feel it out. But if you are going to do this with real dollars, I would exercise an exceptional amount of caution with money that you can afford to lose, because it's not as simple as the profit and loss isn't as simple as traditional stock trading or what have you. Like price goes up, I make money. Price goes down, I don't. Because there's extra variables involved of the fees, like the transaction fees, and then also the interest that gets charged. So being able to calculate where your break even and profit points are distinctly different when you do this sort of leverage trading because of the premiums that are in play.
Yeah. And then this testnet is just the perfect way to kind of familiarize yourself with this type of trading. If it's something that's been, eluding you or been something that you've been curious about, because I do see a lot of people talk about leverage trading. And honestly, I don't think most people engage in it. I don't think most people should. It is really fucking high risk, very it requires quite a bit of understanding to actually do it well and make money. And I've lost more than I've made on this kind of stuff. And I, limit it to an amount of money I send into a clean wallet. And if I blow it all, then I'm not doing the shit anymore. I know myself. I know that I'll just keep draining my own money and just feeding this fucking beast if I don't cut myself off after I lose it all,
But the trading view is pretty fascinating, and it is pretty robust in the way that it visualizes your break-even point and visualizes on the chart where your positions are, even in advanced stock trading things like Fidelity has a stock trading app that you can use, and it's not nearly as sophisticated as this.
Yeah, the other thing that like I really like about this too is like, let's say I want to go long. Let's say like here we expect this could still sell off, and then this last time where we found resistance here, I think that might flip into support. So let's call this where we want it to go long. Like we think it'll drop here and then keep moving up. So I'm going to say this is what 1356. Let's say 1357. So now I can switch this to a limit. Let's take $100 again of Monopoly money, and then we're going to say 13. What did we say? 56, 57, 67, 57. So 1357, which let me just confirm that's right. Yep, for 1357, and then we'll say I want to take profit 50% later. And I'm pretty sure if we make it here, we're not going to go down. So I'm willing to use quite a bit of leverage because I can calculate here, okay, my liquidation price will adjust with my sliding of the leverage. And I don't think there's no way that we drop below, let's say here, where we didn't drop below in the last few, minutes or whatever. So that's what, 1346. So 1344 right now. Let's see what it would take to get me to 1346. Oh, almost no leverage at all. So I'm just gonna like roll the dice here and go all the way up to 100x. But take a look at how the interface handles this type of order. It's really clean. So then I make a limit order. It broadcasts to the network. Yep, it lets me know my transactions are signing. So we got 1 block confirmation and 2, and then the next 2 will be for actually minting the transaction. So you can close that. Order placed, and now there it is. So you see this line gets drawn also on the chart directly, and I can now just sit there and add orders to this chart and have them, visually represented. It's just really, really nice. I haven't seen stuff doing it this nicely often. So I definitely was very impressed by this interface, and I've been really into it's a really fun thing to just mess with, and the fact that we can do it for free with no risk, with no no risk, no chance of losing our actual money by just doing it on the Mumbai Matic testnet here. I think this is worth messing with, just so that you can understand how it works and be able to get some firsthand exposure to this type of trading activity, on chain, but without, having to make broker accounts or without having to, do some type of your own spreadsheet where you're like this is a really cool way to kind of practice and learn. And I really thought this was an interesting kind of way to approach leverage trading. Oh, and then here you can see, we're still overbought. We're coming back, and let's see if we make it, if this ends up being in profit by the end of our stream. But that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to dive into today.
Yeah, that's good timing. So tomorrow we'll be on at the same time, noon Pacific. So we'll do Wax Wednesday. We'll just kind of go over Wax projects we're interested in, play a few games, kind of just talk about the Wax ecosystem and what the latest and greatest is. I don't think we have anyone lined up for Thursday, so tentatively that's just kind of an open day, and we'll see how Lou's doing, if he wants to pop in later this week. But yeah, I guess I'll play us out with some corn, and
it's corn.
Will Bard in the back. Congrats on your Marvel victory,
season victory. Yeah. And how are you? Is COVID hitting your side of the world too? I mean,
I haven't. I got COVID on my birthday back in April, but I haven't had much of an issue since. I also like the closed captioning on this. Beautiful yet haunting power chords played on a guitar.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So hilarious. All right, tell me if the sound works on this, since I was having sound issues.
Okay.
So in the chat, tell me if this is loud or if this is quiet.
Sounds good to me. Beautiful yet haunting.
Different on how it outputs.
I really like cone. you like about corn?
It's cold. A good corn knobs. It has to
The new SNL cast member premiered as the corn kid on the.
No way.
Yeah, he was like dressed as a corn kid, missing teeth, and he's like, "It's corn." And I was like, "Ah, I know that."
The bad thing about corn is the grease. The corn
I just this does not get old for me.
What?
We appreciate the whole corn. When
Oh
you
my
love
God.
something,
I wonder what the
if you anyone loves corn, if you come to me, I can tell you all about it. The folks around like corn.
So you can sing along.
You're big and round.
Oh, nice.
Sing along with the knob. Spread that on. For you and toasted with the grease. That all spreads out the good taste. Or the
Oh.
song is disgusting. Amazing taste. A good corn knobs. It has the juice. I can't run a more beautiful thing.
Woo.
It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I tried it, I don't anything.
Excellent, excellent.
So yeah, I'm. Like I was so legitimately surprised. A corntastic day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right, I'm gonna raid into. It looks like I don't know. We added him as a friend. So nasty 13322. Looks like they're playing
Alright.
Forsaken. At least that's what the tag says. So, I guess if I raid into something weird, let me know. But looks like they're playing Forsaken.
Doodly bop. Nice. Yeah, it looks like our position is unchanged. Still negative 11%. We'll see how it goes.
What?
All right. Well, thanks for another good tech talk, and we'll see you around. We'll be hanging out in Discord, and have a corntastic day.
Yeah. It's just a pun about corn.